What's happening, everybody, and welcome to CFC Fan TV. Season's greetings. It's been a great start to December, hasn't it? I feel so flat about that. It was such a disappointing result against Wolves. They did very well. You know, we had our chances, but we were so profligate and so wasteful, and we've really paid the price. So, on this video, we're going to explore why, we're going to explore what happened, and we're going to explore, crucially, the things that Sarri needs to change. Hello everyone, just a quick one before you watch this video properly. I really want to draw your attention to point 5. The last point that I make in this video is something that I'm really interested in your thoughts in. Please comment below, let me know, and obviously watch the whole video, let me know what you think about points 1 and 4 as well. But point 5 is the one I'm really passionate about, so please let me know how you feel about that. The first thing I think we need to discuss is Sarri's naivety. Sarri is, of course, a really gifted manager, and we're very lucky to have him at the club. But I think he really got it wrong. I think he underestimated the challenge that Wolverhampton Wanderers would pose. When you go away from home in the Premier League, up north, midweek, it's going to be so tough. It's not a day to experiment. You know, Christensen made a mistake, but I feel really sorry for him because he was thrown in the deep end. So for that to be your debut Premier League game this season really is asking a lot of the player. And I just think that he needs to appreciate the English League a little bit more, because those games are always going to be difficult. You know, Sophie, to her credit, she massively called this as a really tough fixture. I thought that we were going to be fine, but Sarri, I just think, needs to understand and ingratiate himself in the Premier League at a greater level, because Wolverhampton Wanderers away midweek is always going to be tough, and it was naive of him to start experimenting and changing things in a game of this magnitude. Point 2, and this is so crucial, is we have no bite, we have no backbone, we have no solidity in midfield. You know, we come from a generation that has seen such brilliant midfield players who have dragged Chelsea to victory. If you want to play us at football, we'll beat you at football, but equally, if you want to have a fight with us, we'll win the fight. Michael Ballack would have no nonsense, Frank Lampard would suffer no fall, and Michael Essien was a warrior. The midfield at the moment just seems to have no cutting edge, no spite, no venom, and it's really costing us, and it feels so easy to rectify. At our club, we're so fortunate, we have the best tackler in the game. We have a player who is perfect at winning the ball back and making life very difficult for the opposition. We're playing him out of position, and I think it would be so easy for us to add that little bit of extra spite in midfield, extra bit of backbone, simply by reverting N'Golo Kante to his tried and tested position. I think we're suffering on 2 fronts, because we're losing him in the perfect position and we're not gaining enough from him in the position where we're playing him, which is not where he wants to be. We saw what happened against Tottenham. We were massively bullied by them. They dominated the midfield and we did not have an answer for it, and Wolves did the same, and it's going to become a recurring theme. If other teams can watch us be bullied out of games, that is going to be the tactic that everyone employs. We cannot afford to simply be out-muscled. We have to have an answer for it. Point 3, and now this isn't Sarri's fault. It's Sarri's fault because he picks them, but after their players cross the white line, there isn't much he can do. And I'm going to talk about 3 players here, and that is Marcos Alonso, Willian and Alvaro Morata. They are so crucially and critically out of form that something needs to change. I don't know what they're doing in training, I don't know what is happening, but they are so bad. Marcos Alonso against Fulham was abysmal, and that form continued in the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it cannot continue. We cannot have these players playing anymore. Something needs to change. And the trouble is, Sarri is a prisoner to his own ethos, which is an admirable quality, but it's also costing us. I read a really interesting interview with Giaccherini, who played for Sarri under Napoli, and he was saying that what he didn't do, he didn't rotate, he didn't use the squad enough. I think he only used 14 players for the vast majority of the season. And then towards the end, when burnout occurred, the players who were on the periphery, who hadn't played all season, were suddenly thrown in the deep end. They weren't match fit, and it cost Napoli the title. And they were the words of Giaccherini. And I think that we could find ourselves in a similar situation. I think we need to come up with an answer as to what happens when Willian is this far out of form, when Marcos Alonso is this far out of form. And Alvaro Morata, if he's the answer, I really don't know what the question is. I just cannot understand how he can ever start a game. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on the weekend, because obviously we have a massive match against Manchester City, a match that we've tried to preserve some of our best players for. Ironically, we've lost the game that we should have won had we played our best players, and we're now going into a game that I think is going to be very difficult to win, even with our best players. But I don't think Alvaro Morata or Marcos Alonso should start that game, and it's going to be very interesting to see if Sarri shakes it up. our current plight is really worrying. You know, we started the season brilliantly, we played some beautiful football and we got some excellent results, but that hasn't continued and our form of late has been terrible. You know, we've lost 2 of the last 3, and with Manchester City waiting for us on the weekend, that could easily be 3 of the last 4. And you know, you don't want to use the word crisis, but if you're losing 3 out of 4 games, that really is an issue. And I think we need more from our best players. Eden Hazard, I've been saying this for such a long time, but Eden Hazard, in my eyes, is one of the best players in world football. We need him to step up. We need a massive performance from him against Manchester City. A couple of years ago, I can remember he was incredible against them. He scored 2 goals, one of them was a penalty, and we won that game, we won the league. We need another day like that from him. You know, he hasn't played well lately. We ask so much of him, he gets kicked to bits. I'm fully aware of the reasons why. You know, he is one of 2 of our 3 maybe of our only world-class players. We're so dependent on him, but we really do need him to rise to the challenge. We need him to grab the game against Man City by the scruff of the neck and drag us to victory. I know he can do it. We know he's skillful enough. We know he's got the talent, but we do need our bigger players to really step up. And I definitely think that it's up to Sarri to get that performance out of Hazard, to coax it out of him, to demand it from him. You know, when Chelsea were brilliant, you know, when we had our backs up against the wall and Jose Mourinho was our manager, he demanded that Didier Drogba led the line and did what he needed to do to make sure Chelsea won games. We've seen it in countless teams over the years. We saw it with Diego Costa and Antonio Conte. What we need now is Sarri to make sure and coax the performance out of Hazard. Do what it takes. Azpilicueta hasn't been playing well. He's been our captain. Maybe we need to give Eden Hazard the captain's armband to inspire him to play as well as we know he can. Point 5. Now, this one, for me, is the big one. I really do feel like this is where Sarri really does need to earn some of that £5.7 million a year. And this is the one I want your thoughts on. For me, we need to have a plan B. I love the football, I love the way that we play, I love the formation. I think it's all beautiful when it works. But when it doesn't work, we need to have another thought. We need to have another idea and we need to try something else. And that just hasn't ever happened. You know, we won our first 5 games and that was brilliant and we looked so good. Since then, in the next 10, we've only won 4. So something's not working and we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. I think it's actually been cited that the very definition of madness is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And that feels to me currently what we're doing. Once, you know, we scored, we went 1-0 up, we should have won the game. I feel sorry for Sarri because it's not his fault that we didn't win because we were so wasteful in front of goal. We had so many chances and until we have a striker who can definitely put the ball in the back of the net, we are going to struggle. But we need more from the manager. Once Wolves went 2-1 up, there was no way that we were coming back into it, and we need to have another thought. Think about what Mourinho would have done when he was in his pomp in that situation. He would have made 3 subs at the same time. He would have changed the shape altogether. He would have subbed the subs. He would have done something incredible, and Chelsea would have ended up winning that game 3-2. That didn't happen, and I just find it all so uninspiring because you're not changing anything. If you look at the substitutions yesterday, it was all like for like. Alvaro Morata went off, Olivier Giroud came on. You know, then N'Golo Kante was taken off, and Mateo Kovacic comes on. It's like for like again. And then obviously Willian and Pedro, the same thing. No change, no actual change. And the trouble is, as soon as you've made the substitution that involves Olivier Giroud coming on for Alvaro Morata, you can't do what Arsenal did the other day. Arsenal found themselves in a terrible position against Tottenham, like we did, but they really changed it. And it was very impressive what they managed to do, because they brought 2 strikers on, and all of a sudden they're 4-2 up. Incredible. As soon as we've made our substitutions, we can't do that anymore. It's like for like at every opportunity, and we're so stagnant. And as a result, we have no plan B. And I think that's something that I implore Sarri to sort out. We need to have a plan B, because when we don't, we can't shake it up, and when things aren't going our way, we have literally no answer. So there we have it. I'm sorry for being so down, but it's just the way I feel. I just don't think there's enough going on for us to be inspired, and I'm really worried about what the future holds, because top 4 qualification is going to be so difficult. Arsenal are looking good, Tottenham are looking good, Liverpool are looking good, City are looking good, and we're not. So can you do me a favour? Please let me know what you think of these points. The one that I'm really interested in actually is point 5. I really want to hear your thoughts about that. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit at the beginning of this video right now, just to make sure that people watch point 5, because that's the one I really want to hear your thoughts on. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't hate me too much. I've been getting loads on Twitter. I'll see you at the bridge soon, I hope. Go on, you Blues.